So I've got a little more time on my hands and I'm trying to work on my dust collection in the shop. Currently I've got dust for my shop vac here and also for my joiner planer. And then I have dust collection for my table saw, but I don't like to have to walk back and forth across the shop. So what I'd like to do is create a little foot lever here at the bottom of the table saw. So this small little area is all I have to be in to control my dust. So if I want to turn the dust off on here, and then I can just turn it on here quickly. I don't have to move that far across my shop. Currently the shutoff valve is on the other side of the room, so that's what I want to try to mitigate. So I'll walk you through what I'm going to try to do for a design for a foot pedal here. So I'm building this out of just scrap wood I have laying around the shop. I built a couple pieces here. The first piece is just a small piece of 3/4 wood with some 3/4 ply on the sides, and it basically just slides over here. So it sits on the top, and I have a stop here, this way and that way. So that just sits on there. Likewise, I have this longer piece of scrap, same idea. And this is just going to slide onto the tops of the feet on each side here. And that's about the exact length. And that just slides into place. So now I have a base here and a base here, and then I will build another piece to go on top. So now I'm just creating an L-shaped piece that's going to sit on the two pieces of wood that we've already completed. And so I'm just using some more scrap of 1/2-inch plywood here. I've cut a piece right here, which is about the length between the 2 feet over there, and then this as well to go on the other piece, and you'll see that in a second. And so these small pieces here I've already cut and pre-drilled, and these are going to go on here to create a track. And so I'm just going to screw these in quick. And so I've also cut this track piece here. This is what's going to slide on the track, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some playing card here to give myself a little bit of space. And then as you can see, this track side is a little shorter than the others. That's to allow room down at this end, and you'll see why that makes sense in a second here. And I'm just going to finish up screwing these in. And when we pull out the playing cards, you can see that we have a nice sliding track here, and that's exactly what I want. So now I want to actually bring this over and attach it. Okay, now I've got this track piece sitting on top of the 2 pieces we already put onto the feet, and I am just screwing this in place. And then I'm just going to slide this piece on here. I'm going to have that butt up against the side of the saw. And one final screw here. So now we've got a nice track system in place. For the sliding track piece, I just pre-drilled some holes here. And what I'm going to do is just put that at the end of this track piece. And these are countersunk so that screws don't touch the sliding area. So I've got that. And then now what I want is I want to attach this to this piece as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this block to attach the two in this L-shaped piece. So I also countersunk these as well so that the screw heads don't touch the track area. So as you can see, we now have a L piece, and we have the little foot piece right here as well. So let's go set this on there and see how it works. So this piece is just going to slide right under here, and our track is just going to be right in there. And as you can see, we have our little foot lever piece, and this piece, the L-shaped piece, is going to stop us from pulling it too far back on this way, and then also by hitting the saw here, and then it's going to push out this way. So you can see exactly how this is going to work, and that should be able to move our blast gate right there. And so I'm going to give you more of a close-up on how I have that blast gate set up. and then how I'm going to attach this to the blast gate. So your setup might differ depending on how your blast gate is set up. So I just have this 90-degree coming out of the back of my saw stop, and then it's connected to a hose. And so I added the blast gate right here. So depending on where your hose is coming out, you can design this differently. And so basically what I'm going to need to do is connect something right here to attach the blast gate. So as you can see here, this is just a scrap cut off piece of wood. And what I did is I ran it in through the table saw to cut out just a small portion and then cut it off with a chisel. And what this is just to the width of the actual handle on the blast gate. And then here I have this L bracket. It's just a small piece of steel for shelves. And that's going to attach right here. And as you can see, there's just a small little gap in between the steel and the wood. And so I'm just going to attach that here with a screw. And so as you can see here, this is going to set over on our bracket over there, and you can see that there's just a small little space for that handle. So I've got a little light in here, and so you can see the handle on the blast gate. That's just going to slide right in between this piece we created, and then I'm just going to have to put some screws in there. There's one, there's two, and let's see. Looks like that should work for us, so let's give that a test. So now you can see the concept here. This little foot pedal is just going to be used to slide that way to open the blast gate, and then you can just pull it back with the foot to close it. So now you can see the concept in live action. So basically, let's say I was using this here, I was done with that. I can easily now just close that, come over to my table saw, kick it open, I'm ready to use it. And then let's say I'm going to go back to my planer, quickly close that, turn around to here, open that up, I'm ready to go. So I really don't have to move that much to use my dust collector, which makes it much more convenient. So hopefully that's helpful for somebody else out there that has a dust collection problem in their workshop, and also that has maybe a saw stop or another kind of dust collection system off of their saw, or even off of another tool where a foot pedal would be useful. Leave some comments in the comments section. Thanks.